7:30.
VPD. I'm trying to make a assault report.
Hi, this is Vancouver Police calling. It is November 18th, a little after 7:38 at night. We understand that you made a call to the Delta Police in which you've made some complaints. We are going to be investigating it on our end. If you could call us back at 604-717-3321. And our file number is 15-217-0004. Thank you.
To replay this message.
Okay, so I've been on the phone. I trying to make an assault complaint. My children have told me that the uncle is hugging him. They told him not to hug him. They ran away a few times. It's continuing to help. It's happened, which is assault and Canadian law. So this is a criminal matter. Also, this fella has a long history of violence against his family members, cocaine abuse, just a long history, including running over and killing a person. But his family has insulated him quite a bit, extensively throughout his life. But now he's coming after my children again, and I have been on the phone now. I've reported this to the police before, and they did nothing except pass it off to the ministry. The ministry bounces it back to the police. So basically the ministry says until your children are killed or raped, where it can be 100% established, there's nothing they will do. And at that time, they'll take the children away from the mother. Completely useless, counterproductive system. But anyways, I'm just logging this because I've been on the phone now, just on the latest assault. Nothing to do with anything from the past, but just reporting assault of my young children by this man with a long criminal history. And I started reporting it yesterday, and I was bounced from Surrey to Delta, and then they tried to bounce me to Kamloops and Merritt police stations, and then now they've bounced me to Vancouver. So really, the police do not want to do paperwork. They do not have the expertise, by the looks of it, to look after assault of children in British Columbia. And I'm just logging all this to just show British Columbia, show Canada, just what a haven this is for pedophiles and violent pedophiles, and how much power a divorced father has in protecting his children. And as we know, as if I go over there and do this myself, which would have been the old way of doing things, I'll be put in jail, and then then there'll be free reign of this violent rapist to have his way with my children. So this isn't stuff I'm making up. There's paperwork, there's already an order in place, and I just can't get nowhere with the police. I can't get nowhere with Christy Clark's dysfunctional system of creating the perfect environment for abusers in British Columbia. Anyways, I'm contacting the police. This will be a long process of getting through to them. So I'm going to put this on hold.
You have reached the Vancouver Police non-emergency line.
So
if you have an emergency,
so you can see I've just been bounced to.
For all
I've got
routine events requiring police attention and attendance, please stay on the line. A call taker will be with you.
So I've called up the police now, and I've been bounced back to a regular non-emergency switchboard. So even after 2 hours of phone calls yesterday, I have not even been. Yeah, good morning. I've got a file number here. I'm supposed to speak to an officer.
What's the file number?
It's 15-217-0004.
Your last name is? Yeah, I have it here. I'm just trying to see.
Has it been assigned to a specific officer, or is it just kind of in the general realm of things?
I'm just looking at it here. Yeah, they tried to contact you, and that was at 8:33 on the...
Yesterday at 7:30, I've got the voice message. I just...
Yeah. So they tried to contact you and could... So they had... the file is just waiting until I guess they were to contact you first. And I guess they wanted to talk to you personally about the situation at hand to see what you had to say about it.
Well, I'll be honest with you. It was an assault. It's a criminal matter, and it's assault, so it's not a thing.
Okay, so they have to talk to you first.
Yeah.
And then whether or not there's enough to substantiate them going forward with Ministry of Children and Families and so on and so forth. But they do have to talk to you first.
Okay, so
you know when they would be able to do that?
well, I started contacting police yesterday. I called Surrey originally, and I've now been on the phone for I've got this all recorded for over 2 hours now. Been bouncing back and forth, and it's going to stop the tape right here for a second and explain what's going on here. I witnessed a rape many years prior to this, prior to me separating from my ex-partner. I moved from a small town. I moved to the big city. I met this Catholic family, and I got married into this Catholic family. Not long after I was married, I caught her brother raping a boy child. So it was man on boy rape. It was a brutal rape. It was not touching. It was full on rape. The mom, I was young. The mom convinced me not to call it in that day, and time went on. I never forgot about it. I was haunted by it, but I was convinced to look away. I did, to make the Catholic family happy. But no doubt, I witnessed a rape. So in 2008, I got separated. So remember, the rape happened many, many years before 2008. We were in our glory years. I had no reason to make this up. But in 2008, I recorded my ex-partner. She was starting to forget about the rape and forget about details and such. So I wanted some kind of proof, because I really, in my heart of hearts, could see this coming down the pike, where the rapist would now know that I was out of the picture, because this Catholic family had said that God told them that I was no longer the father of my children. So I had deep concerns. I sensed this coming, but then all of a sudden, well, I did get an order. He was not supposed to be touching my kids. He wasn't supposed to be left with my kids at all. But the family didn't support this. They believed that they spoke directly to God. They're fucked up people. But and that's why I got divorced. And I planned to be married for life, but it was hell being married into this fucking twisted Catholic family. But then the rapist started. My son told me about these spider games, and my other son says, "Don't tell dad. Don't tell dad. You're not supposed to tell dad, right?" So my kids you're really young at the time. So I was in Abbotsford at the time. I had a place out there. So I called it in, and the rapist lived in Surrey at the time, for what I knew. But my kids and the mom lived in Vancouver, and the rape took place close to a town called Merritt. So who do you call? So I start calling around, and I get bounced from Surrey to Abbotsford. I think I went Abbotsford to Surrey, or vice versa. And eventually it ends up that they say that Vancouver should handle this case. So the Vancouver police took on this case, and the guy's name was Sergeant Stephen Jackel. Sergeant Stephen Jackel is infamously known for the Miles Gray murder. That's where these cops come up, and they beat the fucking snot out of this guy called Miles Gray, and they kill him. And then there's a big cover-up, and of course all the highly, highly corrupt bureaucrats cover the ass of the police, and people are upset, but life goes on. I mean, this is the most corrupt place in the world. Vancouver's the most corrupt place in the world, right? But I don't really
have time to explain, the Miles case, but it was the same officer. This Sergeant Stephen Jackel was in charge of those officers that killed Miles Gray. Now, Stephen Jackel will take on my case, and I'll be given a file number, and he'll tell me that the ministry has looked after the rape. The Ministry of Children, known for sexual abuse within the ministry, known for taking money off of children, for all kinds of fucking corruption, and including this guy named Strickland, who was made the newspaper for allowing a person to have contact, and then eventually that person rapes the child. This was a completely other case. So this is Strickland is now on my file, working with this very, very questionable police force and this very questionable police officer named Steve in Jackel, right? So Stephen Jackel will tell me the ministry has taken care of it. The Ministry of Children is looking after a child rape, a violent child rape. Do you see the problem there? That doesn't make any fucking sense in the world, right? But this is the kind of crazy that was going on in 2015 with the government, which is directly related to the Catholic Church. It is 100% related, but they want to make these rapes go away. So right now we have Justin Trudeau in power. He's a Catholic, and we have Premier David Eby, another Catholic, and we have this family I was married into, Catholic. This Catholic family gave me just over $5,000 to forget about a crime that this same perp had done regarding another matter. He was into all kinds of crimes. He killed one person, he gave another person brain damage. He was a fucking train wreck. But you know what? I mean, it breaks my heart that he killed people. But when he started coming after my kids, that was it. I went to the police. And the police, I think, were instructed in 2015 to make Catholic rapes go away. So you can hear that I get a file number, but we're speaking now. So that was in 2015. I was given a file number. Right now, today, in the last few days, I've been speaking to a Sergeant Tran. His name is Eddie Tran, and he is telling me that there was no file in 2015, no rape file, no spider game file. There was nothing. There was nothing filed in 2015 regarding a child rape that I witnessed. And remember, there's an audio. It'll be on YouTube here. Like if you look through here, maybe I'll attach it to the comment section or the description section, right? So what I'm leaving here is a legacy, just to show you how much energy the BC government, which is the Catholic Church and the BC government are one and the same, are working to insulate Catholic rapists. Whether it be they took money for this, the Vancouver police took money to make the rape go away. Because remember, I took $5,000 to make another thing go away. So there's no reason, it'd be that out there that the police took money, whether it be from the Catholic Church directly, whether it be from this Catholic family, or whether the ministry, which is very powerful, which is the government, have told the police that we will look after the rapes and you just go stand over there, right? And then they looked after the rape and made everything go away. So the Strickland was part of that. You can look him up. His name was, I think, Robert Strickland. So he was the Ministry of Family and Children. And there was a lot of stuff going on about him. And he got caught doing some really bad stuff. And then the guy looking after this case of me reporting the spider games, and again, reporting the child rape that I witnessed, his name is Stephen Jackel. And he is a very questionable fella himself, where he had his officers that were directly he was in charge of beat Miles Gray to death. And then I read some of the details on how he sure looks to me like he was insulating his officers and is not very forthcoming. And then they quickly retired him, and then he's now evaporated off, from the Vancouver police. But what else is missing here is now this file has gone missing from the Vancouver police. So there is some serious corruption going on down there. And I just can't stress enough, like, this is really got to be investigated by third parties and not the BC government. They're harshly corrupt. This has got to be probably investigated, personally, I think, by something like the New York Times, like some kind of American paper, because BC is just so corrupt. This may need to be investigated by the federal government of Canada. You know, the RCMP maybe investigate what's going on with basically Catholic rape cover-ups within the Vancouver police and the BC government. Mine is a perfect example of files just going missing, and I'm leaving audio proof here that you'll see one of them. I speak to Sergeant Jackel. You can see I speak to dispatch here. They give me the file number, and then, you know, in March 2024, Sergeant Tran, his name is Sergeant Eddie Tran, and it looks like he's got a relative up at the very top of the police, but he's telling me that this file doesn't exist, and that's fucking crazy, man. Like, the police files just going missing, rape files just going missing from the database of the Vancouver police, and it's tell you, Vancouver is just a creepy place. Yeah, I can't say enough. I don't want to go about what I know, you know, what I used to see when I worked in downtown Vancouver, and all that kind of stuff, because I actually did not see the forced sexual intercourse, right? I knew that, you know, that men were bringing, older men at this, some of the clubs where I did work, were bringing in young girls. I don't know if they were underage. They look pretty fucking young to me. But, you know, it's not until they start coming after your kids or maybe your grandkids that you go, oh, wait a sec, maybe I should take notice that, you know, the sex trade but this wasn't the sex trade. This was a fucking rape, a rape that I witnessed. And now the Vancouver police spend so much energy making these things go away, and the Ministry of Children working with the police hand in hand to make these files disappear. And yeah, any British Columbian listen to this, any Canadian listen to this, any fucking North American person listen to this, they should be shocked what's going on in Canada. It's just a cesspool of corruption, debauchery, Catholic rape. I mean, it's absolutely brutal. But I'm leaving this on the internet. This is my conversation with dispatch, and just I spent, like, I got to say too, one more thing. When a person reports a rape, it should be very easy to do. And literally, when I was going through this, I was so stressed out. I mean, I was having heart palpitations. Here I am taking a chance, reporting a rape. I could be killed, right? I mean, this guy was bad. He was into coke. I remember at one time these gangsters had come to his door, his parents' door actually, and collected money directly from mom and dad because he owed drug debts, right? I don't know if I was that afraid of him, but he could have had me killed, and his dad could have had me killed. And I mean, here I am, and now I'm finding out, you know, maybe this Strickland could have had me killed, or this Sergeant Steve Jackel could have me killed. And, you know, I could still be fucking killed for putting these recordings out there, you know, exposing that I saw a rape, and that rape had a file number to it, and now that file has disappeared from the Vancouver database. So this is pretty serious stuff. So you can imagine the stress. So it shouldn't be this hard, you know, and it shouldn't take years and years of repeatedly reporting a child rape for someone to do something, right? But the default is they work with the ministry and the Catholic Church and the Vancouver police to bury these rapes. And when I first reported this, I was like, you know, what the hell is going on here? And they just drag it out and drag it out and drag it out, and nothing ever gets done. And you think, well, you know, tomorrow will be the day And then finally, I make my statement to the police. I give them the audio recording. I give them transcripts. I give them all the details. And then I find out that this Sergeant Steve Jackel possibly, highly likely, never even interviewed either the perp or the victim, of which they had the name of both those people. It is absolutely shocking. And now the file's gone missing. So according to Sergeant Eddie Tran, in more than one email, he said this 3 times now in 3 different emails, and I keep hitting on that, right? So his boss now is supposed to give me a call in another 5 days. You see this? Like, I'm talking about rape, and now it's another 5 days going here. Years and years and days, and it's just like, there is no doubt in my mind now that this is 100% intentional Catholic rape cover-ups going on in this province, and probably in Canada, but definitely by the Vancouver Police and definitely by the Ministry of Children. Ministry of Children should not even be investigating rapes, and they didn't investigate any rape. That's not in their jurisdiction. Rape under the Criminal Code of Canada is criminal. It's not for the ministry. A bunch of ding-dongs and questionable people in dysfunction and politicians and bureaucrats to decide that they're going to do the rape investigation and tell the police their outcome, and the police will just blindly accept that. And but you got to remember, these rules are agreed on by the top of the Vancouver Police, right? They get together with the bureaucrats and they decide this stuff's going to happen, and then they start, like the guy like Sergeant Steve Jackel, they find guys like him that, I mean, the newspapers say he was investigated for murder of Miles Gray. The police know which people they can give these files to that will do their bidding, will make things go away. And I tell you, the public should be fucking scared. They should be fucking scared of the Vancouver Police. And that's why I'm putting this video with the recording that apparently doesn't even exist, according to Eddie Tran. That I even went to, that I went to the police and got a file number. So maybe I'll go missing, but hopefully I don't know. And I'm sure people go missing all the time in Vancouver.
Specifically, I said the ministry can't do anything about it. The ministry's mandate is only to take children away from their parents. This is assault. I have my kids on recording. They've told me that this fella has repeatedly hugged them. They've told him not to. This guy has a long sordid history with family violence, cocaine use, and et cetera, including child rape. So I'm trying to get this sped up to some degree. The police can, I would hope, keep trying to contact me. They tried to contact me one time last night at 7:30. So I missed that call, so I would think that they could try any time during the day. I'll try to keep my phone near me. This is an extremely serious matter. It's it's assault. It's a police matter now. It's a criminal matter. So yes, the police can call me.
You already contacted the ministry?
I am in touch with the ministry, and not on this specific newest instance. The ministry has a file where my ex-wife poo-pooed the original rape. Poo-pooing means...
And so did the ministry investigate?
Yes, the ministry...
Okay, so as I mentioned, the Vancouver Police have been given the mandate that the Ministry of Children are going to investigate child rapes. And that is madness. It's a criminal matter. And now in British Columbia in 2015, the government, which is connected to the Catholic Church, is conducting investigations regarding child rape. That is absolute madness. And it shows that church and state are too close, and church and state have, been altering sex assault, Catholic sex assault statistics and burying rape. And this is just like madness. And somehow this lady asked me, this dispatch is asking me, what does the ministry say? Are you fucking kidding me? It's a fucking child rape. And the ministry of children, the most dysfunctional and corrupt, and they're politicians, they're bureaucrats, and they're, directly connected to the church in British Columbia, Church and State 1 and 1 is Catholics all the way in British Columbia, are investigating the rapes, and police are taking direction from the ministry. Absolute madness, but it's so important that you hear this.
Did a half-assed job of investigating. As you know, I don't know if you know the name Strickland. Strickland was part of it. Strickland actually is being personally charged.
Well, it doesn't matter. I just need to know, did they investigate?
They were able to investigate some of it, but they like there was 200 pages of dental work, for example. They said they didn't have a dentist that could look at the paperwork. These children are under 10 years old, 200 pages of dental work. So that there was a really bad investigation, but then I've spoken to higher up within the ministry, and they've basically told me child rape is very, very common in British Columbia, and their only mandate, the ministry's only mandate, is to remove children from homes. They can do nothing else except when it gets to the point where children have to be removed from a home. And my children don't need to be removed from any home. This is assault. So it has nothing to do with the ministry. This is assault by a guy with a long criminal record.
Okay, I'll let an officer explain all that to you because you've been given some misinformation. But anyways,
what kind of
is this the only number you can be reached at?
Yeah, I also have email too.
Yeah, they don't do that. So I'll have them. I'll have the file memoed that you have called back, and they will have an officer contact you.
Okay. Now, the misinformation. What kind of misinformation would I have?
I just, from what you're telling me, there's just some information that you've been advised of that's not exactly how the procedure goes. But I'll let them explain that to you. Well,
you've just told. Okay. I've just told you that there's there's an assault that happened over the last couple of weeks here, and I think to be misinformed. If you know I'm misinformed, I should be alerted to it right away. So this is a time-sensitive thing.
They'll contact you and they'll speak to you and take your information.
Okay, so I can understand you're just going to refuse to tell me what misinformation I have.
Now, as I say, with exactly what you told me, you'll tell them, and then they'll be able to explain it a bit better.
Okay, so I've already explained all this to Delta. I've explained this to Surrey, and now I'm going to have to re-explain it again. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why you went through all the jurisdictions, but anyhow, you have us here because I believe they supposedly reside here. Is that correct?
My children live in Vancouver, and as I understand, the perpetrator in this possibly is living in Vancouver, because I'm told that he no longer lives in Surrey and he doesn't live in Delta. So I believe that's why I've been bounced back to Vancouver.
Okay, so, but yeah, I'll just leave it at that. There'll be an officer calling you, okay?
Okay, I'll I'll wait then.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so now there's some miscommunication. So I talked to 3 different people. There's some miscommunication, but I don't get to be privy of what this miscommunication is. I think she's going to try to explain the Ministry of Children and Family Development to me, which I'm very, very well aware of how they operate. I've been told by higher ups that there's nothing they can do, and they bounce it back to the police. And now it sounds like the police may bounce it back to the ministry. So it is Thursday, November 19th, 2015 at 12:21.
Going to be that they watch him during the day, and I'm taking care
And you can assure me that none of your brothers at any time will be looking after my kids?
They will not be looking after your kids.
Okay. Because I do have
I know you have issues with it. I feel you're totally wrong with those issues, to be honest. Totally on.
Why do you think I'm so wrong? Would you think I actually made all that stuff up?
I think maybe you saw something and then you interpreted it the wrong way, is what I think.
And what do you think I saw? Like, how could I?
Just brothers.
Doing what, though?
I don't know. What did you see? You didn't see anything. You thought you heard something, isn't it?
I heard.
Yes.
Max.
It sounded like giving
Shane.
oral sex. That's what I heard.
You heard. You don't know anything like that. That's just beyond unbelievable in my mind. Totally. That you heard somebody give oral sex to somebody.
And I heard
Max.
in a bit of agony.
You're probably joking. Maybe they were fighting.
What was
Shane.
on drugs then? Absolutely. Was it
I already
alcoholic
told you
then?
about that. I already told you that they were sharing a tent with Lorraine and her boyfriend at that time. You know? I think you just totally interpreted something wrong. And yeah, sure.
Shane.
Might be a homosexual. That doesn't make him a pedophile.
You don't think he's a pedophile?
Why would I think that? Is there anything to show me that he would be? Would I leave my kids with him? No. But that has nothing to do with being a pedophile. I would never leave my kids with him.
If he's on drugs,
Yeah,
right?
on drugs,
Hard
yeah.
drugs.
Yeah.
Like, what's the last thing you heard he was on?
Hope.
Cocaine? And alcohol?
Alcohol.
Don't you think that messes you up enough that even if he's the greatest guy in the world, that he's capable? What was his own wife accused him of having homosexual relationships, right?
I said he may be a homosexual. That doesn't necessarily mean he's a pedophile.
And his own wife has a restraining order on him.
Because he beat her up.
Does he not have, is he allowed to see his kids by himself?
No. Because he has anger issues.
When was that anyways?
Have they been separated?
No, when did that thing I accused
Shane.
of doing, that was,
Years ago. It's probably about 10 years.
so how old is
Max.
Ben?
10.
10 years old?
10. 20.
When that happened, he was younger than 20.
20. He's 30 years old. And Lorraine was dating Ross. And her oldest kid is, well, maybe even less than that. Maybe he's even older than that. Because her kid right now, with Greg, is going to be 8.
So it was more like,
So, and she met him then 9 years. Yeah, 9 years. Yeah, so he was 20.
Max.
wasn't 20.
He was 20.
When we went camping that
Yes,
time,
20.
he was
He
not
was.
20.
Because Lorraine went with that guy, Ross.
Yeah,
And she was dating him at that time. She only dated him for a year.
yeah.
So,
And that was a couple of years prior to her getting married, was it not?
just a year.
A year?
She broke up with this guy, we were just talking about it the other day. She broke up with him in August, and she mentioned Greg in November. So,
Max.
he was 20.
He wasn't 20 years old
Ask him yourself.
when we went camping.
Yeah.
He was a kid. I'm trying to
20
think.
years old.
Maybe
Shane.
he was more like 20 years old.
No, I didn't even meet you.
Shane.
I wouldn't have been 20. Didn't even meet you till late 20s. So there's no way.
Well, I keep mentioning this over and over again.
I keep telling you, there's no way I would ever leave my kids with
Shane.
never.
Or,
Max.
Not by himself.
but you leave him with
Max.
Amy.
If they were both there, yes.
Even though for the last,
I have never left them alone with
Max.
Amy, so it probably would never come up.
but the thing I find amazing is I've been accusing
Shane.
of
I know. And I've always...
abusing,
Max.
right, for years.
Yeah, and I've always poo-pooed it.
You've always poo-pooed it
Yeah,
because you don't
always.
think your family would ever be capable of something like that. Even though
Shane.
beat his own wife.
Yeah.
has been accused by his own wife of having homosexual relationships and cheating on her
Yeah,
and doing drugs.
yeah. I know all about that. I agree with all of that.
But you think that your own husband, and I've been accusing him from the day it happened, which
Max.
was way younger than 20 years old. I know that because I remember driving with him
Max.
after that, and he was like a child. He had to be about 16 years old.
Nope. Couldn't have. I wouldn't have met you then. I wouldn't have known you then if he was 16.
When we met, how old was
Max.
How old were you when I met you?
Well, we met in about 92, right?
Maybe 92. 3.
Well, 93 is when we moved in together. You had your own place for a while. So we met in 92. And it was only a few years later that we went camping. Because we were still living in the apartment, right?
Yeah, I think no.
Well, think about it. We weren't living in this house.
I know. Well, how many years ago was that then?
Well, that was at least, we've been here for 11 years, right?
So it's 17 years ago.
Yeah, and we only went camping a few years after we met. So you got the dates wrong.
Max.
Was way younger than 20 when that happened. Well, we've been in this house for 11, right? If we've known each other since 92,
I think it's been 92.
well, it has been because I got paperwork. It says 92 we met. 93 we moved in together, right?
What kind of paperwork do you have?
Look on that paperwork I gave you. It says 93 we moved in together.
No,
95 we got
Where are you
married.
getting that information?
But 95 we got married, right?
Yeah.
92 we met. 93 we moved in together. So, and we had our other place for what, about 8 years? Well, if we met in 93, we got our place in 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000. We were there about 6 years, I guess.
Max.
Because how old now?
30.
30. So we've been here for 11. And you know we didn't go camping when we were living in this house, right? So it's at least 11 years ago, right? And 11 years ago, he was 19, right? And it wasn't, we didn't go camping just before we moved in here. It was at least 5 years prior to us moving in here that we went camping.
I think you're pushing it way back. Because we went with that guy that's Lorraine's was boyfriend before.
She had a couple boyfriends. Why do you always...
Because that's the one that I remember.
Well, what about referring to where we lived? Did we go camping when we lived here?
Max. Shane.
I don't know where we live.
Come on.
Jezebel.
I mean, you gotta at least try, because you know, if you don't try to, if you, what I'm seeing is that you're just trying to bury it all.
No, I'm not trying to bury it. I really don't believe that you can actually just hear somebody give oral sex to somebody. I mean, come on.
Well, I believe I heard more than just oral sex too.
Well, I mean, but you can't prove it. There's no proof for that. You know?
Doesn't it bother you that
You've been accusing about me about a lot of things too.
Ben.
What have I been accused you about?
You know, just the way you talk to me. Don't you ever want to be so that you could be a part of his, like when his birthday
This is something
like that?
okay. So
You're just pushing things.
this is something way more serious though, right? This is about my children being sexually abused by a pedophile. You know, if
Shane.
There is no pedophile.
If
Shane.
the Catholics have been bearing it for years.
Jezebel.
You know that. Do you think they're all
about Catholics? It's everything. It's Boy Scouts, for God's sake.
okay? So it's a lot of different things,
That's
but
right.
this hits home for
North
me.
safe.
This hits home for me because now I'm trusting my kids across town. You said
Max.
would be not living there. Now apparently he's living there.
My mom told me that people moved out upstairs, they're gonna move in. I thought they'd go right away. So they're doing some work
But-
on there.
but
So what do you want me
This
to
is
do?
just an issue that I'm trying to hammer home. I've been worried about
Max. Max.
safety. Now he's older.
Max.
His well-being, because if
Shane.
molested,
Max.
there's a high probability, even if he's the nicest guy in the world, there's a high probability that he will do the same thing to somebody else. And I'm very concerned about that. And I'm very concerned about that you choose not to remember the dates based on your cousin having a boyfriend when you know that we've lived here for 11 years and it was way beyond us living here.
I'm going to find out then, aren't I?
Well, I mean, if you just helped me do the math, you would see
I'm going to
he was
think
about 15
it, and
years
I'm
old.
going to find out.
He was about 15 years old when it happened. And you're trying to tell me he's 20, so that just means that you're trying to bury.
I'm not trying to bury it just because my memory says it. I thought he was in his 20s. I'm not trying to bury
Do you
it.
think
Shane.
would have been able to molest him when he was 20 years old? He was a big kid
That's
at 20.
probably why I never thought that he could do it. I really don't think that would have ever happened. And I've always said that to you.
And I was disappointed that your reaction was not being that concerned about it. Even back in the years ago,
What am I going to do with it? What am I going to do?
you could have approached your young brother and said, "Are you okay? Is everything okay downstairs when you're living with
Max. Shane. Max.
we're living in that basement? You don't know what was going on. You don't know how he was being abused. Did you ever go to him
Max.
and say, is everything okay? I'm your big sister. You can tell me."
No, I never did.
Don't you think you should have?
That's hindsight, yeah?
Well,
Yeah, you're probably
if I made mention of that, right?
You actually said you were going to go talk to him, if you remember correctly.
Yeah, and I chickened out, but I
Okay,
wasn't.
well.
I wasn't his.
Okay, well,
I wasn't
you know
his
what?
older sister.
I didn't do anything, okay? I didn't deal with it. Because I probably at that point didn't want to.
So, but my concern is what happens when one of my children are abused in that house.
You know what? You look at percentages,
Uh-huh.
I would never let anything like that happen to my children. Never. Don't you even go that route.
But,
if
okay,
you look
but
at the
what-
percentages, really,
Uh-huh.
he has a more chance of being abused in school than he would at my family's place. I don't care what you have it in for my family. You really do. The way that you talk to me, crouch and always stubbornness and stuff like that. You're just as stubborn.
That is a different issue.
That is not.
That is a different issue than child abuse. Child abuse is a very, very serious thing as far as I'm concerned.
You know what? Ben. I'm not a moron. God, do you think I'd ever want that to happen to my kids? Do you really think I would?
Okay, I'm asking you something. Could you ever
Max.
talk about it now? And just say, when you were living downstairs with
Shane.
did anything ever happen? Could you talk to him about it now?
That'd have to be the right timing. Yeah, probably could.
Because he might need some kind of counseling, you know, if he was abused. People doing drugs do bad things. And
Shane. Max.
you have to admit, was always very young for his age. Was he not? He was always childlike.
Well, he's got a good head on his shoulder now.
Yeah, but I just hope he's not burying anything. He's not repressing anything.
Well, what is he going to say to me? He's going to say no.
Well, that's what I'm concerned, is your family, I find, doesn't seem to talk. Even when I left that message for your dad. You know, he didn't even phone me and say, you know, bugger off or anything.
Well,
He
it's
just,
probably a sarcastic one.
it was, but he could
Yeah.
at least phoned and
Why?
said,
I told him not to get involved.
did you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm worried about. What happens if you suspect that
Max.
or
Shane.
is abusing, or someone else in your family is abusing? Are you going to just say, don't get involved?
No.
You're not going to tell me?
My God, no. You mean if I found out that one of them was going to...
If you even suspected they were being abused.
No, I would confront it, first of all.
You wouldn't tell me first?
I don't know what the circumstances, but I wouldn't want him there if that would be the case. I would never put my kids in jeopardy.
Well, you've seen how much it bothered me, you know, 15 or so years ago when I first brought this up. You know, it was driving me nuts, right?
Yes.
And I have every intention of making things peaceful and have no intention of bringing this up just for the sake of bringing this up. This is a serious concern of mine.
Of course it's serious. I'm not making light of it.
Did you ever tell Lorraine or anything? Ask her if any about that episode?
No, I would never. How would she know?
No, she was camped there too. What was her boyfriend's name?
That was Ross. Wasn't he the same guy that we went whitewater rafting with?
I think so, yeah.
Was it that camping trip or another time?
That was the lake. Remember I cut down those...
This is where the one we went to when Warren showed up, wasn't it? Isn't it like Dot Lake or something?
That's right, it was Dot Lake. Exactly.
Right? There's a big slant there, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
I don't think Warren was there. Do you know who was there? My friend, Doug.
I don't remember Doug, but I remember Warren.
Don't remember Doug was there?
No.
You remembered before, when we had a conversation before, you remembered Doug was there.
No, you said Doug was there. I said Warren was there. Well, how did Doug get there?
We drove him.
I think you're getting mixed up with a different time that we went.
We only went to Dot Lake once with your cousin. How many times did we go camping with your cousin, Lorraine? It was only the one time we ever went camping with her.
No, we went with Greg.
That's what I mean. Back in those days, though, we only went camping with her once.
I don't know. I mean, what do you want me to say? You know?
I want my children protected from that. That's all I want.
Who doesn't? I don't know how you can stand there and say that I wouldn't want the same thing for them.
Well, I just asked you if you suspected something happened, even suspected, would you confront me? And you said under certain circumstances.
No, I didn't say that.
So if you even suspected anything was happening, would you tell me right away?
Yes.
Sure took a long time to answer that.
Well, I'm thinking before I'm speaking now. Yeah. I was putting my pros and cons in, yeah, I would, because you have a right to know. Yes.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way. I'd hate for you to stall when you thought something was maybe happening to protect the integrity or the face of your family, and just let something go on like that. I think that's why you've never confronted
Max. Shane.
because you don't want to embarrass the family with something like that.
You don't think our family's been enough embarrassed with
Shane.
I don't give a shit what they think.
But what about
Max.
What about
Max.
So it wouldn't be an embarrassment for him.
Sure it would.
No, it wouldn't.
If he was being molested.
Well, that's because he was young. That would be the only thing, and it wouldn't be anything. It would be, maybe it would be embarrassing for him, but it wouldn't be for anybody else who would look down upon him because of that.
No, I don't think so.
No. And everybody knows about
Shane.
anyways.
Does he still go to all these breakfasts and stuff?
Sometimes.
Does he touch the kids at all?
He might.
And I told you I had a big problem with that, didn't I?
I know, and what did I tell you with that?
What? I don't remember.
I said,
Shane.
I will not be left alone with my children. What am I supposed to do? I told you that, and you said that. You said, oh, you tell him, don't touch my kids. Most times they run away from him anyways.
He's a drug addict, a homosexual, and I am accusing him of being a pedophile, and I have been for 15 years. And you think it's a problem when I tell you that I don't want him touching my children at all. Not even one finger on my children. And you think I'm wrong to say that?
Yes.
I'll say that one more time.
Shane.
Has been doing cocaine, alcohol,
Yes.
has beat his own wife,
Yes.
cannot see his own children unsupervised,
Yes. That is why I would never
and I've been
leave him alone.
accusing him of being a pedophile for 15 years now, a pedophile towards
Max.
that I know of, and I asked...
Don't know of, so don't say you know of. You assume you don't know. Okay?
I seen shadows through the tent, and I heard
Max.
crying, and I know what sex sounds like, and I know what probably unwanted sex sounds like, and that is what I heard, and that is what I've been accusing him for that many years. And all I ask is that
Shane.
is told never to touch my kid, and you have a problem with that?
Yes.
And why do you have a problem with that?
Because you are just saying all these things that you're not even for sure about. You don't know for sure. You assume it.
What? What part? The drugs?
No, the pedophile.
Yeah, everything else is true though, isn't it?
So what do you think he's doing?
What?
What do you think he's doing?
What they do is they get close to a kid and they build a trust.
Well, they're not going to build a trust.
How do you know?
Because I've said to them, don't go near him.
Said to who?
Our oldest son.
But what about
Max.
What about...
Max.
Max.
okay?
Well, I've never said that to them, don't go near him.
Max.
Never.
Yeah, well, that's what's gonna. I really have a serious concern. And now, am I going to be allowed to see my kids when they're living in East Vancouver? Is it going to be comfortable for me to go over and get them? It hasn't been very comfortable here.
That's because you've prevented that from being comfortable.
Ben.
You did that yourself.
So
You should have left them stay out of it.
Now, whatever you think, and am I going to have a problem seeing my children in East Vancouver?
As long as you just go over there and bring your children wherever you want to and do not say a word about anything, then you will, yes. If you're going to vent to them or bring up any issues, then you're going to have a problem, yes. Does that make sense to you?